There are many thoughts in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord abides forever. Mercy is a fruit to a man, and a poor man is better than a rich liar. The fear of the Lord is life to a man, and he shall lodge with fear in places where knowledge is not seen. That I read for Monday at Vespers, the 6th week of Great Lent. And I get it. I got the Latin lectionary online, and I read it, if you can see right there, on my Kindle. Now, I just take the file that I created and download it to my Kindle, and I read it quite conveniently and take notes and everything else. So I'd recommend you to try that. It's online, orthodox.net/Great Lent, and you'll see the Latin lectionary there. And maybe you want to do it that way, because I love to read things on my Kindle. So I can't waste too much more time, because people usually listen just to a few seconds and then they click off. And I want to tell you something about this. So there are many thoughts in a man's heart. There are. Christianity can be said to be a man learning to control his thoughts. Because if you control your thoughts, then certainly you are blessed. Certainly you are following the commandments. So we need to learn to control our thoughts. And there are many thoughts. And most of our thoughts, until we become perfected, are throwaway thoughts, or even evil thoughts, or even bad thoughts. So the counsel of the Lord is what we're seeking. And we seek this counsel through prayer, through fasting, through repentance, through loving our enemy, through loving our neighbor, through prostrations. That's how you learn to have clear thoughts, and how you learn to not have so many thoughts that confuse you. Most of your thoughts are probably not good ones. I'm not talking about inherently evil, but they're not necessarily completely true. We need to have many good thoughts in our heart. Now, the next line is, mercy is a fruit to a man, and a poor man is better than a rich liar. I'm sorry, but I think about our days now. We have a lot of rich liars, and these rich liars have access to media and everything else. And so people are just parroting these secular truths. And a secular truth is an oxymoron generally. It's not a truth, it's a lie. So how are you going to know which secular sayings and what the government is trying to tell you to do, and what Facebook is trying to tell you to do, and everything else? How are you going to know if it's true or false? Well, if you are living a spiritual life, struggling to pray, struggling to fast, struggling to be a Christian, then God brings wisdom. You won't get wisdom by reading every single report there is about COVID, or about the vaccine, or about anything else for that matter. You'll get wisdom through struggling, and through, especially, I recommend very much doing prostration. You're not doing prostrations, then, well, you should. Okay? Now here's the last one. The fear of the Lord is life to a man, and he shall lodge without fear in places where knowledge is not seen. One word that really describes our age is fear. There's going to be plenty more of it coming, so get ready. There's fear, so much fear. Fear of COVID, fear of death, fear of everything, fear of the environment being destroyed, and all the rest. People are living in fear. Anxiety is maybe at an all-time high in human history. So how do we get rid of this anxiety? How do we get rid of this fear? I'm not saying to ignore that there are problems, by no means. But what do we do? Well, if the Lord is lodging in us, in our hearts, then indeed we will be without fear. And if he's lodging in our hearts, we won't have all these many thoughts that are leading us in the wrong direction. So when I read this these verses from Proverbs, I thought about our age, and I thought about myself. I thought, why do I get anxious? Why do I get upset about things? Why do I have fear? It's always because my eyes are not completely on God. If my eyes are completely on God, then why should I be afraid? Even if terrible things might happen, why should I be afraid? Because God is within me, right? Now, it's not quite just as simple as that. You have to live this life. So I beg you, my flock, anybody who listens to this, react to the fear of the age and the manipulation of the age, not so much with a diatribe against manipulations, etc., but more so that you react to it with prayer, with fasting, with prostrations, with reading the lives of the saints, with reading the Gospels, etc. And then God will lodge in you. And if God is within you, then you're more than a conqueror, right? You mount up like an eagle. You should not be afraid then. This is the solution for our age. And things are getting harder. Things are getting tougher. Somebody told me that I'm speaking more apocalyptically later. And he said, well, I basically agree with you, but maybe not about the apocalypse. Well, I'm not trying to predict the apocalypse. But it's easy to see with eyes that see and hear with ears that hear that we are in an age where a truth is called a lie and lie is called a truth. And many people are believing lies because they're repeated over and over again. Because there's nothing in their head or their heart that will keep those lies out. This is how you keep the lies out. Not by researching really well. But, research is great. I do it. I depend on people to do it. But you keep the lies out by having the truth in. May God help you in all things. God bless you.